There we go. You are listening to AK-47 Radio, bringing you the best of the motherland, but with fewer breadlines and more controlled press. Tonight, we are not joined by Cosmonaut General Mikhail Gonsalves. We are joined, however, by the Comrade Commissar. I think his name is Will, but I'm really not sure. And I'm Sam Alexander, as always, the janitor. It's really sad down here at the bottom of the totem pole. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, and it looks like...
Oh, look, he did make...
Hey!
Man, if you had just looked if there was anybody backstage before you went live.
Well, I had to switch over to the notes so I wouldn't forget what to say. You know how I am.
An idiot? Yes, I'm aware.
There's a great Stan Rogers song called The Idiot.
I don't know who that is.
He is a Canadian folk singer.
Oh. Well,
he died back in like 83 or something like that in a plane fire, interestingly enough.
Not a plane crash, just a plane fire?
No, there was it's the reason there's smoke detectors and no smoking signs in the bathrooms, because a bathroom vanity, the back one on an airplane, caught fire. And yeah.
Yes, I actually, if it's
a plane fact you didn't know.
No, actually, I think I did know about this one.
He was speaking to the people.
There was a fire in the lavatory and they couldn't put it out, and they got on the ground safely enough, but
open the doors, air rushed in.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
Killed half the people on the plane.
He was one of them, unfortunately, because he had a great singing voice.
Yeah, which one was that?
I don't know, but we're not going to go through all that.
No,
it was Economoplan Airlines.
Fuck. Well, it was a Canadian airplane, and that's awfully close to Soviet. So
it might have been a Canada airplane.
Anyway, with all that out of the way, what you guys been up to this week? You do anything that made our country better, or did you just like submit yourselves to the waste and depravity of imperialism?
I made a turkey for the first time and didn't burn my house down, so that was pretty cool.
You imperialist.
I definitely imperialist, capitalist, whatever you want to is.
Did you colonize that turkey?
If I did,
he executed it.
My family. If I had colonized the turkey, my family wouldn't have eaten it because that would have been weird.
Yeah, I suppose it was Thanksgiving, wasn't it? I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
that was already 5 days ago, and I live one day at a time. Clearly,
I bought bread. I stood in the bread line today and bought bread. Literally, it's one of those, you get the call on the way home and it's like, hey, can you do me a favor? I know you're on your way home and all you want to do is not do extra things, but can you go to the store and get me a loaf of bread? And I was like, yeah, I'll go get bread.
See, the thing is, I don't have to do that because my daily chores are always like, I have to hurry up and get the kids. I don't have time to stop by Walmart. So then I drag screaming children through Walmart, and it's all the better. But yeah, Turkey Day. How did the party's Thanksgiving go? We don't condone the celebration of Thanksgiving in the world of communism because, that
means
horrible,
you have something to be thankful for.
Yeah, how dare you have something to be thankful for, and how dare you have food?
Well, I mean, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Well, yeah, it did, didn't it? Then all those people got smallpox. And we all got blamed for it.
It was Air Canada 797, by the way.
God damn it.
Well, my Thanksgiving was great. And as part of advancing the party's interest, I didn't force, but I'll say I forced my wife to shoot a crossbow. So take that.
How'd that go?
Fine. I let my daughter shoot a crossbow too, and then she missed the target by 2 feet. Good thing there was a dirt berm behind it.
Bolt go underground.
I said, is the red dot on the target? Yeah. Are you sure? Yep. Because I'm holding it for her. And she's like, all right, you extra sure? Yep. All right, we'll pull the trigger and keep it on there. That was a foot to the left. All right, never mind.
I mean,
at least you have the luxury of teaching your kids about guns and arms and all of these things, whereas you didn't really grow up with that. So this
Not at
is
all.
what you missed out on, giving your parents these kinds of frustrations when you were learning. You just spent your own money to learn these mistakes.
I mean, I did have BB gun. I did shoot myself in toe with BB gun, wondering how bad it would hurt.
Oh, so
Okay,
this was
you're an idiot.
intentional.
Yeah, though this is intentional. This was me going. It was one of the ones you could pump, like the crossbins, you could pump up like 10 times.
Yeah.
How bad just one of those hurts. Ow, it hurts really bad.
Growing up, my parents got my little brother the squeezer. Actually, they got him a BB gun, but it was like you break it open, and then breaking it open actually pumps it at the same time, and it shot those pellets that look like little chef's hats.
Yep.
And
177 cal, I assume.
Yeah, my dad did not lock it up. Big mistake on his part, because I knew where the pellets were. I knew where. I mean, it wasn't hard to find. It was just in a corner in the basement. So I went to this corner in the basement and found the pellet, and I taught myself to shoot in the basement by bullseyeing like Lego men and shampoo bottles and beer cans and all sorts of dumb nonsense.
That is a dumber version of the story, but everybody that grew up in the era where when you went to school, there were kids in the parking lot that had rifles and shotguns in the rack in the back windshield of the truck. Everybody that grew up in that era has stories like that, where you were able to do things you probably weren't supposed to do, but you didn't die, so you're better off for it.
Right. And never once did I shoot myself in the foot because I thought it was a good idea.
Right?
I didn't think it was going to be a good idea, but it's one of those things that once the idea kind of worms its way into your brain, it's hard to get rid of.
So you've had the brain rot for a really long time.
Yeah, he's got some of it hanging on his wall.
What, the commission rifle? That is brain rot right there. That is 19th century German brain rot is what the 1888 Gewehr is. But we're not talking about the 1888 Gewehr tonight. So
no, we were talking about the 2025 Stolichnaya.
That's not called Stolichnaya anymore. It is just plain old Stoli, because
nobody knows how to say Stolichnaya. Yeah, that's why.
Well, no, because
Stolich my balls.
Whatever. I'm not doing that.
Jeez. And tonight was supposed to be a relatively serious episode, from the notes at least.
There's no such thing.
No, there's no such thing. We're going to talk about serfdom.
Okay, I said relatively. Even time is relative.
What do my relatives have to do with this?
They're communists.
All right, fair.
Better than I was going to say.
If you let me go on long enough, we're going to talk about how post-serfdom led directly to Bolshevism. But I don't know if we'll go deep down the rabbit hole.
And how do we apply that? Compare and contrast to today's society.
How do we compare and contrast today's society to serfdom?
That's not tonight's topic either.
Do you want to get started on that one?
Let's go down the rabbit hole.
We want to talk about technocrats and the rise of wage slavery. This all sounds really fucking lefty and weird, but the problem is it's not.
Let's go down the rabbit hole.
Okay, this is supposed to be an escape from current events.
Oh, well, we'll get to current events eventually.
We have current events? I thought we were just talking about past events.
I just dropped something and it's Mike's fault. Anyway, this is going to be the first installment. I mentioned it way back in, I can't say episode 1 because technically it was episode 8 of the first episode we did.
Episode 1 of the good version.
There's nothing wrong with the previous version.
Yeah, but we're better.
Except for I wasn't on it.
None of us were on it.
That's I just got us so many
episodes and went, oh, this is working great.
I just got us so many 1-star reviews. Anyway, I'm gonna beat the AMBO right now, like Khrushchev did. This This is going to be the first installment of I still haven't decided what to call it, like the history of the gun. You know what gun I'm talking about.
The
Hopefully.
Gewehr 88.
If you don't know what gun I'm talking about, you need to look at the title of the podcast once again.
Oh, I got it. The AR-15.
Exactly. This is the history of the AR-15 podcast, starting with the birth of Nicholas Dooley.
Oh, his poor mother.
Anyway, the AK-47 / AKM, if you want to be a nerd, does not exist in a vacuum. And so I wanted to drag you nerds all the way back to the lovely days of the Berdan 1, which was an extremely short-lived service rifle, which barely even counts as a service rifle, considering how quickly it was replaced by Berdan 2. But all the way back,
it was the Kami M14. Got it.
Almost, actually. Actually, that's almost the Berdan 2. The Kami M14 would be no, because damn, the SKS fills that role almost too, in the sense of like, here's the SKS. Oh, by the way, here's the AK. And they weren't commies back then. This is all the way back in Tsarist Russia days, the old times, before the other evil empire.
The great long ago.
The great long ago. So, Hiram. I hate that. I got to name a kid that so I can get that name right all the time.
Could you please not?
Hiram. There you go. Thank you. That is one of the best, worst names ever. Hiram Berdan, the man who gave us the Berdan primer, that bastard was actually an American, believe it or not, which is funny considering how much the Berdan primer is associated with Russian and Combat calibers. Hiram Berdan was a nice fellow who, back in the American Civil War, put together some of the first dedicated sharpshooter units in the Union military. Union at that time, because, Will's people were doing that thing down south that we don't want to talk about right now. No comments?
Picking cotton?
I would take over the episode, but that's not for tonight. So,
no, it is not. Long story short, the dude's a bit of a tinkerer. Came up with more than a few of his own designs. The Berdan 1. Oh, let's back up a little bit. So, post-Crimean War. See, I'm going to talk a lot, so you're all going to get over it.
The war that I'm criming about, because he won't shut up.
Hey, this is your fault. Post-Crimean War, Russia gets its ass smacked by the Brits, and so goes into the usual cycle, especially of Tsarist Russia industrialization. Not even industrialization, just history, where they lose a war, they fucking force themselves to catch up with the rest of Europe. They immediately fall behind, lose another war, force themselves to catch up with Europe ad nauseum, over and over and over again. Well,
it's almost like what they're doing today. Nice.
Almost. Post-Crimean War, they decide they need to change up their entire system, because previous to this, most of Russia's, not just the farmland industry, is run off of basically serfdom. And if you don't know what a serf is someone who is tied to the land, who is not quite a slave, but more or less a slave.
Indentured servitude, but at the will of the party.
More or less, yes.
Go work these farms, and then we'll take the
in part because of how low the population is and how relatively unproductive much of the farmland is. The best way to get more produce out of that farmland, if you're a nobleman, is to force more and more people to farm it. So that leads to more serfdom, so on and so forth. I have to go over my other notes here. So 1881, Emancipation Manifesto, 1861 rather, is basically driven as political necessity to drive Russia's military and economic status to catch up with the rest of Europe. As part of this, because they have no industrial base, ending serfdom is to herd almost half the population off of the farms and into factories. This is where factories like Tula and Ishvesk, that's where they become not just like a factory, but an entire city built around a freaking factory, because they expand those state-owned and even private armament plants into overtime. The problem is the labor is also terribly inefficient. So then they start trying to train people in modern industrial techniques, but they don't have anybody to do it either. And they don't have a lot of engineers. So they send dudes overseas to go find guys like Hiram Burdan and look at his designs. And the Burdan 1 is a trapdoor breech loading rifle. Very similar to how we have the Springfield trapdoor breech loader. You flip it up, you throw the cartridge in, you smack it home, off you go, right?
Sure, I like smacking things on the breech. Let's go.
Yeah, I bet you do. This is also back in black powder days. So Burdan 1, I believe Burdan 2 was also chambered in it as well. This is sorry, I talk too fast sometimes. This is going to be a slow, long process until I get the hang of it a little bit. 10.75 by 58 millimeter rimmed. If you're wondering why the measurements are so absolutely fucky, it's because usually in Russian armaments, they measure from the lands, not the grooves on the bore. So you end up with weird kind of nominal cartridge sizes instead of something that we normal humans would consider a nice even cartridge number.
That's true. And I did learn that recently, but also you have to remember these are still black powder cartridges. So think like 4570, like black powder, bigger is better because we can't make faster unless we just make the cartridge longer. So they were making them in ginormous cartridges, partly because of the limitations of the technology of the powder at the time.
Oh, yeah, indubitably. Indubitably, sir. I believe that's also why they're measuring from the lands and not the grooves, is because the lands is where the bullet's going to have most engagement, while the grooves get filled up with black powder fouling. The Burdan 1 only survives for about 2 years, though, until you get to Burdan borrowing a little bit from the Shosh Po.
Oh, God.
But decides, borrowing a little bit from the Shosh Po, but then decides that, you know what, a bolt action's actually better. And he's not wrong. Bolt actions are better than trapdoors. They're faster to operate. It's a more secure system. They're less fucky. And so he invents the Burdan 2. And the Russians love the Burdan 2. The guys they sent over who were meeting up with Hiram, they love the Burdan 2. This is the rifle they want to stick to. Fun fact, the Burdan 1, most of them were made in the United States, but the numbers made of them were tiny. I believe it's something like only 10,000, or was it only 30,000 of them? Yeah, only 30,000 of them. So in terms of a mainline small arm, not a whole lot of them, especially for the size of the Russian military at the time. So then they roll out the Burdan 2. The Burdan 2 is first made and produced in Britain, of all places, because, again, Russia is trying to catch up their industrial capacity. Ironically, Britain's arms industry at the time is actually completely fucking backwards. We could go down rabbit holes on Samuel Colt around the time when he opened up his London factory. But
let me interrupt the comrade real quick. 334 Dodge in the yeah, right. The listeners are like, oh my God, thank you, Mike. 334 Dodge in the chat says, I'm confused. I thought black powder is what you put in muskets, but I thought you put gunpowder in normal rounds. So fun fact, black powder is what we used to call gunpowder. What we call gunpowder today is smokeless powder. The difference between smokeless powder and black powder is that black powder is an explosive and smokeless powder burns. It burns really, really fast, and it creates a lot of gas, but it burns. It doesn't actually explode.
And it burns very cleanly.
Right. It wasn't invented until around the turn of the century. I don't know exactly when.
By a Frenchman.
1884. Oh.
They just needed to up the ante on surrendering. Oh, we have better technology, but we're still going to surrender immediately.
Goddamn frog-eating surrender monkeys. Anyway, so a lot of the cartridges like 4570, they were initially introduced with black powder, and the 45 was the caliber, 70 was the number of grains behind it. So you've got,
there was a 4590, I believe, at some point too.
Yeah, there was a 45 110 also. I think
the cavalry with their carbines used a lot of 5070.
So
50 caliber projectile sitting on top of 70 in a brass case.
Yeah.
No, 30-06 is not the same. It's not sitting on 06 grains of black powder.
No, we don't need to go that far though. We're still in black powder days right now. Although smokeless powder is an interesting transition too, because the French consider that a state secret at the time.
Yeah.
And they do one of my favorite historical things is they have the Wunderweapon in front of them, but they don't know what to do with it.
I'm pretty sure they
rather
didn't call it the
building-
Wunderweapon.
I'm sure they didn't. The Wunderwaffen.
I mean, they did when the Germans invaded.
But rather than starting from the ground up, they shove it into service and create the 11 millimeter Lebel. And I don't know if you've ever seen an 11 millimeter Lebel cartridge before. It is a triangle of a cartridge because all they did was they took their existing, I forget what caliber it was. No, it was 11 millimeter. 8 millimeter Lebel. It was previously 11 millimeter, and they just took the same cases and necked them all down to 8 millimeter, which creates this weird, really tapered, just fat fuck of a cartridge. They're fucking.
So anyway, to Mike's point, you use black powder and then smokeless powder becomes a thing. And so then what do? You redesign every cartridge? No, you use the same stuff you've been using. You just start using this better smokeless powder, but then that enables more technological advances in terms of cartridge design, firearms design, etc. and so forth, because now we have smokeless powder, which makes everything better.
Indeed.
Yar.
To back up though. Berdan 2 is and this is why I think Berdan 2 is relevant to this conversation, which is probably how I should have started this whole conversation out. It's relevant, in my opinion, because it is the first mass-produced Russian armament in terms of small arms. Prior to that, they are buying up rifles from pretty much anywhere else they can find them. They're being created by low-skill serf labor in small batches.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first mass-produced, industrial produced small arm with the intent of we can take these, interchange the parts, everyone's going to be happy.
And even then, to fast forward from your point, in World War I, the Russians, if I'm not mistaken, made a contract. It was either Remington or Winchester. I don't remember.
Winchester.
Don't quote me. But yeah, they created a contract for lever actions for trench warfare, because lever actions they thought were better than bolt actions for trench warfare. But they were chambered in we haven't gotten there yet in the storyline 7.62x54R.
The 1895 Russian, man. I would hurt somebody for one of those guns in Minecraft.
So
anyway, Russian small arms have always been a mess. That is the truth. But no, they get to Berdan 2. The Berdan 2 is mass produced. The Berdan 2 is the birth, Tula and Ishvek existed beforehand. This is where they became powerhouses, though, in terms of being able to produce arms, because they shoved all the serf labor in there. They brought the industrial, they brought in engineers. They built the factories to actually produce the rifles. Funny fact, talking about backwards arm industries, I can't remember. I just have in my notes BSA, and I'm not going to look it up, but it's in Birmingham. Who are they contracted with for the first 30,000 Berdan 2s? The quality coming out of that factory initially was so poor that even the Russians rejected them. They said, fuck that, we're not having this. So then it swung the other direction to where the tolerances were almost too tight until they found some kind of happy middle. But Russia only accepted about 10% of those British-made Berdan 2s. They ended up mass producing most of them themselves. They exist in the United States. A fair number of them ended up coming in from Ethiopia, oddly enough. And I would like to have one hanging on the wall behind me, but unfortunately I do not. And the fun part is that the Berdan 2 was adopted in 1870. We just talked about smokeless powder coming around in 1884. Your Mosin Nagant that you probably have sitting in your safe it's a 9130, right? Mosin Nagant.
Not me.
Oh, not you?
Mine?
No.
Oh, no, you don't. So, no, this is just in general. The Mosin Nagant's the Mosin.
I'm just trying to break up the tone of your voice.
Oh, well, thank you.
And the tone of his single-sided conversation.
Yes, that.
Man, well, fuck you. But the 9130, the 91 comes from 1891, because by 1891, prior to 1891, with the advent of smokeless powder, everybody is looking for a new rifle now. Everybody. Except for the United States, we waited around fucking forever to get the Krag.
And then yes, and then we ended up stealing the Mauser from the Germans in the early 1900s.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, but it's kind of lame at the
It's
same
fine
time.
because we won.
Yeah, to 1903 is fine.
Facts.
I mean, the hopper feed on the Krag Jorgensen's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's a Swiss clock made by Americans. It's like Rolex we have at home.
I mean, it's like a fucking Norwegian design, so. But hey, what do you know? Dr. Scary Guy, I cannot start over. This was already a giant vomit. You missed the entire history of Russia.
Not the entire, unfortunately. You've only missed like 20 minutes of it. There's more, unfortunately.
Nah, I mean, there's not a whole lot more when it comes to Birdan too.
I commented on the chat, but Dusky did say we're not all on Super Chocolate and White Monster. To my response, not White Monster. Sam is on White Russian, and that's why we are where we are right now.
I don't like White Russians. I don't drink anything that's. I don't like anything that's fucking coffee flavored.
334 Dodge. So what would happen if you tried to use smokeless powder in something that used black powder? You will blow it up.
If it was originally made during the only black powder day. So if you buy a modern Henry 4570 and put a modern smokeless powder cartridge in it,
yes,
it's fine. It's built for that. But do not go buy an original antique and try to put a modern cartridge with smokeless powder in it. It dangy.
And do not load 70 grains of smokeless powder in it either.
Oh God.
Good example. I inherited what I am pretty sure is a Belgian Liege from my grandfather. Has no serial number, manufacturer stamps and stuff, but like no importer or anything like that. It's super old. It's a little 6-shot revolver chambered in what I'm guessing is 320 revolver. That's the caliber name, 320 revolver, or 380 revolver, one of the two. Regardless, that was a black powder cartridge that they no longer make. So finding ammo for that is next to impossible, if not completely impossible. Can I make 320 revolver with smokeless powder? No,
not at all. Also, I will say one of the actual good things I am not praising any sort of firearms regulation because it's all trash and it should all be completely abolished. However, it's like COVID was awful, but now I can get everything delivered to my door, including any food I want, not just pizza. One of the only good things that has come out of all of this international government regulation of firearms crap is all of the required markings. So instead of going, I think this gun I inherited is in 32 revolver, you would know because it would be stamped on the gun.
Mm-hmm.
The downside is importers have to put their frickin' import marks in giant electro penciled billboards on everything.
The downside is that I don't have a fucking MP7 on that wall right now.
Listen, we were talking.
I mean, fair enough.
320 revolver, not MP7.
No, the MP7 better. The 320 is the gun that shoots you.
No, not SIG 320.
You said 320 revolver instead of 32 revolver is what he's getting at.
Yeah, I get where he went, but he's an idiot. So
you're pedantic. So
you're
same.
Yep, same.
So yeah, this gun is so old. I am pretty sure he bought it new in like the 30s or 40s.
Damn.
Yeah, I'll bring it on another time and be like, look, here's my old history piece I can never fire. On another note, I did also inherit a twin barrel black powder pistol with like 3-inch barrels. So that's cool. I could fire if it didn't look dangerous.
Muzzle loader type?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's probably safe.
Probably.
Now we can talk about German Gewehr 88. Hey, we're going to squirrel off real quick because we were talking about this. This falls right in the same timeline, especially of that scramble to get smokeless powder rifles, specifically between at post 1888. We're talking that's post German unification, not the other ones. the first one with Bismarck. Anyway, the French and the Germans have been going on it forever because I don't know, they just got an issue or something.
Well,
The
the
Gewehr
Germans
88
don't like the way the French talk, and the French don't like the way the Germans talk.
fair enough. The Gewehr 88 is an exact response to the predecessor to the Gewehr 88 was the first Mauser, the 1871, I believe, which is a single shot breech loading black powder Mauser. That's the beginning of the Mauser action on that one. The Gewehr 88 was the German, it's called a commission rifle because it was literally built by a committee. The Germans deciding they didn't want to pay Mauser any money to develop a rifle, so they sat down, went to the drawing board, gathered all the various bits off of other rifles they liked out in the world, and then tried to mash them into one rifle, which is fairly mediocre. It has also been rechambered. Well, mine has not been rechambered, but they switched their cartridge halfway through as well.
But historically, anytime you try to put the best of everything into one gun, everybody has figured out over and over again that's a bad idea. Like,
Yeah.
oh, let's take M1 Garand and BAR and make M14.
I mean, M14 is kind of cool, but it's also kind of heavy. And
Yeah, and I've never fired one on a full auto, and I don't know that I would try. I would probably rather fire a full auto Glock, which I have done, than a full auto M14.
Probably, yeah. But to round it out, prior to the Mosin, you get the Berdan 2. Berdan 2 is rechambered, some of them in 7.62 by 54R as a reserve weapon, which of course then got itself dragged into the First World War. And it's shitty enough being in World War One. It's extra shitty being in World War One, knowing you only have a 5-shot bolt action rifle. Imagine how much more shitty it is to be dragged into World War One with a single shot bolt action rifle.
Oh yeah, I didn't actually know the Berdan 2 made it to World War One.
So
I thought the
basically
91s were the World War One gun.
No, they were. The Berdan 2s were drawn in as basically a rear echelon rifle, and
Yeah.
which, especially in Russian terms, means it makes it to the front anyway because they have no guns.
That's why you can go to any military armory in the U.S. today, and you'll still see M16A2s on the racks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of the Russian troops also going into the the Weeb. This is right up your alley. Russo-Japanese War. At that point, the Mosin should be the standard issue weapon. It is not. There's still a ton of Berdan 2s rolling around. If you look hard enough in pictures from from 1917, the October Revolution, you'll see Berdan 2s rolling around then too. I wouldn't be surprised if there's not one.
You see 9130s in Ukraine today.
I was about to say, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple of them rolling around in Ukraine right now.
Also, Dusky in the chat says full auto Glock is not that bad if you know what you're doing. Yeah, but we're talking about conscripts here.
Yeah, they don't know.
So know what do.
How gun work?
That's part of the reason the bolt action was considered superior. It's a hell of a lot easier to remember. Up, open, in. And it had a 45-degree bolt cant on it as well. Because a lot of those early bolt action rifles with the lower pressures of black powder, they didn't need a complex locking system like on the bolt handle itself on the Chassepot, I believe the 1871 Mauser, the Berdan 2, a lot of those early bolt action rifles, the bolt itself is the one locking lug. And then as you get into smokeless powder, pressures go up. We need more locking lugs. Also a full 90-degree turn so that this thing can't accidentally be bumped out of batteries easily. So, anyway, thank you for joining me on this very first, kind of rough. We're going to smooth this out as we go on. I've kind of uncharted territory for me in terms of talking this much. I hate it.
Well, then stop.
No, somebody has to. You're not going to do it.
I mean, I could.
You won't.
You're right, but I could.
So do y'all want to know just as an addendum here on the end before we move on to other things, how ending serfdom, which you could also say beginning serfdom, but specifically ending serfdom.
So monologue number 2 for the listeners.
What?
So
monologue. Sorry, I was talking over you. I couldn't hear you.
Doesn't it make it a bilog? if there's more than one.
No. It's two monologues.
Yeah, you're the expert in buy. We'll leave that one to you. Anyway, so consequences of ending serfdom leading directly to the Bolshevik Revolution. The serfs who get left in the farmland are essentially stuck with, in order to pay back the nobility, they're handed what is almost like extra serfdom, which is you all can go ahead and farm, because they also partitioned out a bunch of the land to go like, yay, you're a yeoman farmer now. You own the land. But by the way, you have to pay the nobleman who owned the land back, and it's going to take you 49 years to pay the guy back. So you better get to work. So that created conditions on the farmland for people. I mean, the Bolsheviks, one of their big slogans was oh god, I had this memorized. It was bread
it was
Bread,
Air
Peace,
Canada
Land.
Flight
It was
9797.
bread, peace. Lenin used to go around screaming bread, peace, land. That was his like 3-word easy slogan that you could shout in the streets. Bread, peace, land. I'm sure in Russian it probably actually strings together better than in English. But the factory workers, he essentially, that with the end of the with serfdom, it creates this mobile labor force that they can kind of shove to wherever they need them to go, and shoving them into industrial factory centers with extremely poor safety standards. We're crammed tenements, low wages, long hours, the same old crap you get in any industrial revolution, Victorian era, so on and so forth.
Or the modern oil fields.
Modern oil fields, except for they tend to get fairly well paid, which makes a big damn difference.
Hey, at least it's capitalist.
And they do have safety standards. They don't follow them, but they have them.
I mean, they exist on paper, just like communism.
They're more like
exists on
guidelines
paper
and actual rules.
Yeah. But specifically, it's that urban population center they created not overnight, but in terms of like historical scale, basically overnight. You have now a bunch of people who are very, very unhappy, who are all living in the same place, versus before they're spread out all over the land on farms. So they're easy to organize because they are concentrated in small areas. And that's fertile ground for Marxist revolutionary ideas to just go ahead and take off.
Again, compare and contrast to modern society.
You mean modern cities?
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny how that works.
Amazing. That's why nobody goes to protests for the other side, because we're all at work.
So it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, if they hadn't done this, bad thing wouldn't have happened. But it did accelerate the conditions for you to get peasants uprising because they want the land and they don't want to have to pay the dude on the hill back for 49 fucking years to get the land. And then you get the whole proletariat nonsense in the cities because they want better conditions. And off comes Lenin and the rest of the Bolsheviks going, hey, we got a solution for you.
And what a solution it was.
Mm-hmm. All glory to the party.
I said it in the chat, but at 334 Dodge, he says, oh, wow, I didn't know pressure made that much of a difference, but I have a question since we're on full auto. Do y'all prefer roller block? I'm going to assume he's going to mean roller delayed, or gas block, or gas operated, like locking action. I'm assuming full auto.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it just depends on a lot of things: caliber, design, use case. Like there's no one size fits all. But for the people out there that may be newer to guns, but maybe you're into other things, like y'all weirdos are into cars. I am not.
I'm not.
Okay, but you know more about working on cars than I do, and I'll admit that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. For some people, like people that are really into cars and they just want to have a gun to do a thing. I'm into guns super autistically, and I just want to have a car to do a thing. If you're into cars, that's fun for you because it's all different, and you can't just put a 454 big block in, I don't know, name tiny car. You mispronounce Porsche again.
Kill yourself.
And so, yeah, it just depends.
It does. I have shot a few full autos. I have shot. Well, I can tell you in terms of roller delay blowback, a full auto G3. So I don't have mine hanging up here, but a full auto 308.
You have a
battle
full
rifle.
auto G3?
No, I've shot one.
You said you don't have your full auto.
Yeah,
G3.
I don't have.
Well, I didn't
It's
say
not
that.
hanging up here, but
Yeah.
yeah, he totally meant that to sound like he's got
Totally, I've totally got one. Don't worry about it.
Mm.
That was
Sorry, guys. I didn't get-
enjoyable to shoot, but not. It's a lot like the M14 in full auto. I don't want to do it every day. It was a good time, but it was also a bit like hold on and just watch. It had to watch the red dot on it just freaking shake all over the place and just try and keep it somewhere near the target.
Yeah. Have you ever shot a full auto Glock?
I want to shoot
Yes.
I want to
Yeah.
shoot an AA-12.
I thought that
AA-12.
fucking full auto Glock was gonna go sail right over the berm.
Dude, the world disappears in front of your face.
That was the G3 for sure. Like the world disappears and gun just goes bang, 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 bang. I'm like, oh, it was a total freaking adrenaline dump. And then
Yeah,
I've also shot
it's-
full auto AK. Full auto AK, far more controllable.
Mm.
Also, roller delay guns for me are a lot like AR-15s in terms of like the feel. It's kind of just you don't feel a lot of like mechanical action going on. Gun unlocks, recoil, boom, you're done. To me, AKs, you get that kind of ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
Chunka, 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 chunka,
Chunka,
chunka, chunka,
chunka,
chunka, chunka, chunka.
Which shooting in full auto was even more fun than in semi, just because it's like, yeah, ka-chunka, 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 ka-chunka. Ta-chunka.
Tatanka.
Ta-chunka.
You know, I regret that. I should not have shot the Tommy gun. I should have shot the AK.
The problem is where we were shooting them, the ammunition was not cheap. So it's like, I am not going to go broke shooting full autos today. I could, but I'm not going to.
Facts.
I mean, you're right. 45 was cheaper than 7.62 by 3.9.
I feel like it's probably more common to find a full auto AK out there than it is a full auto Tommy gun. So if you chose to shoot the Tommy gun, you'll probably have an opportunity to shoot a full auto AK at some point.
Well, the problem is I chose the Tommy gun having done it before.
Oh, well,
I could have picked something different, but I liked the Tommy gun. Anyway, yes, Vince in the chat asks if this was at RET. Yes, that is where it was.
River's Edge Tactical in Ohio.
Also, Tommy gun way more weirdly than AK. So you get better recoil control from a lighter cartridge, even if it is heavy as hell, and awkwardly long length of pull.
It is really long, and the sights are weird.
Yeah.
On the Tommy gun?
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, it depends on what model, but you probably shot the one that had the stamped sight that was just folded 90 degrees for the rear sight.
Probably.
He wasn't paying. I wasn't paying that
Hey,
close.
my great grandfather brought back a Japanese Arisaka that was clearly a last ditch build. Like you can tell the stock was hand carved with like a knife or some hand tool.
Just some dude with a butter knife.
And it's aperture sight, but at AK distance. So like AK leaf sight distance, not back of receiver distance, and a gigantic triangle of metal in the front for the front sight. No adjustments. You can't drift them. You can't do crap. They just shoot where they shoot.
Niet, comrade. Arisaka we have at home is fine.
Niet,
Japanese people. That's more like.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah,
Never mind.
Like,
I can't do. I don't even know Japanese words for no. So
EA.
EA comrade. Arisaka is fine. It's not meant to shoot bullets. It's just for a bait.
Hey, I almost just replaced comrade with Kimosabe. So,
EA gringo.
Oh, well.
EA comrade son.
Goddamn.
Yes.
There we go.
Do that to me.
Found it.
Well, in other news, this week I also was playing around a lot more with that Molly 2 ruck. I've taken it out on a few. If we're going to like geary chat stuff now,
I
bumper
guess we
music,
are.
bumper music, down, bam, but it down,
Bump, bump, bump.
bump, bump, bump.
Bump, bump, bump. Wah, wah.
I've been taking just some lighter rucks, about 25 pounds, just to get the feel of it. I've been spoiled by my Mystery Ranch pack. That is for damn sure. But I finally got it all tuned. It's all riding well. Been out there pounding some pavement. It's cool.
I will say, yeah, the Mystery Ranch packs are dope. I would love to own one. But the Molly 2 has one inarguable thing going for it over your standard. Like, if you think Mystery Ranch, you think of this tri-zip pack. And that is the Molly 2 has more organization going for it. You don't have to strap extra pouches or put extra stuff on the inside to organize your things.
I mean, mine's the Mystery Ranch Metcalf, which is very much a hunting pack, though.
Okay, so that may be different.
So the downside of a hunting, and I just discovered this because I guess I've never seriously put on my hunting pack with a helmet and went like, huh, this is fine. The load lifters on like that Metcalf come up way above your shoulders, which means you can grab them and you can, again, you transfer the hip down, you transfer the weight off your shoulders down to the hips. Then you grab those load lifters and you cinch that bag right up against your back. So it's not angling away from you. The Molly 2, I can't get it cinched up to my back nearly as tight. But again, something I just discovered because I'd never played around between hunting pads, hunting ruck, and like go out and let's go kill the Taliban ruck. Is with a helmet. My helmet bumps those freaking load lifters.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh shit. So I was wondering, like, fuck, man, is this pack like for midgets? Why can't I get these load lifters up above my shoulders? Because then it'd get in the way.
So you know how when you have a taller pack or when you're carrying your rifle on your sling and your barrel's like above your head and you're trying to get through thick brush and tree branches and crap.
The last time I did that was with crossbow bolts stuffed in a backpack, going through some really tight. I was getting so pissed off. I'm trying to duck under shit and getting hung up. I'm like, motherfucker, I just want to get out of here.
It's the same thing if you put a more traditional like hiking or backpacking, like taller pack that's more narrow because it's more comfortable because it's more narrow. It's the same thing with like a helmet or anything. It's you get a lot of restricted movement. Now think about putting on a taller pack with a helmet on and having to instantly go prone because you're taking fire and you have to orient and return fire, but you've got a helmet and a pack that's as tall or taller than your head.
What are you talking about? If I'm laying on the ground with my head in the dirt, the coverage of the helmet's now protecting me.
Yes, because that's how helmets work.
With a dome my size, it kind of does.
It's not about the width of the coverage. It's about the thickness and the material of the coverage. But you know what,
That's
Sam?
really strange innuendo.
You should go try that. You should go to Ukraine and you should try that.
It's not about the width of the coverage, ladies. It's about the thickness of the dome. But I've been messing around with that some more. I would encourage you, if you're out here listening, go buy a ruck. Go ruck some. Don't be a fat boy. I am not that much of a fat boy. I am a fat boy compared to what I used to be. And
your head is a fat boy. Your head is a fat boy by itself.
Yeah, you do got a fat head.
I do have a fat head, but unfortunately I've got about 20 extra pounds I need to lose elsewhere. So we're going to go walk it off.
That's just in one spot, too.
In my head?
No, the 20 extra pounds you've got to lose, that's just one spot.
Yeah,
you've got to lose it in some other places, too.
He means you need to lose more than 20 pounds. It's just 20 from your head and then more from other places. I feel like I'm going to be the translator for this show.
Well, if Sam would just man up and learn how to speak Mike, then this would be fine.
There is nothing manly about knowing how to speak Mike. I'm actually a little embarrassed that I know what you're saying half the time.
That's your fault.
I really like it when I don't have to open my mouth.
We also really like that.
That one resolved itself. All right. Well,
I need more alcohol.
that you do. Well, gentlemen, how did you think that first segment go? Give me some feedback. On air feedback. Let's hear it. Terrible. Not good. Fuck off.
It's gonna take a while to get to the whole meat of this whole thing, if that's how we're going.
That's the point. If we did it in one day, it wouldn't be any fun.
Yeah, but then we could talk about other shit, like stuff that I know things about, like airplanes, like the MiG-21.
I mean, you get to Mosin Nagant, and you're up to biplanes, so
That's fair.
your
Once we
favorite
get
type of plane. It swings both ways.
gross. It's got
He's really into triplanes.
It's got. They tried too hard with that one.
Then he got the monoplanes, and he's just like, yeah, I don't know, I don't like it.
No. Biplanes have one too many sets of wings.
I mean, triplanes do two sets of wings.
Yes, they do. There's actually a study that I read a while
You
back.
started this. You got him on planes.
The Fokker triplane that the Red Baron flew, I don't remember the exact model because I'm not really up on my World War I aircraft.
How dare you?
Same, honestly. But the triplane, they did a study and they studied how lift is created on the wings, and in order for lift to be created, the wing has to be moving through the air. The air underneath the wing is moving at a slower speed than the air on top of the wing, and that's what creates your lift. It's literally lifting the wing into the air. So you also have aerodynamic forces going along with all this, and it's not just the air next to the wing, it's the air around the wing as well. So when you have three sets of wings burning through the air, and you have all that extra aerodynamic forces and stuff, they discovered through a wind tunnel, one of those ones that, like, we've all seen the meme on Instagram about how a cow is more aerodynamically efficient than a Jeep Wrangler. They did something very similar to that on the Fokker triplane, and they discovered that the middle wing inhibits more lift than it creates.
Because it's blocking the lift from the bottom wing to the top wing. And
correct.
It's not creating enough lift from the second wing to the third wing.
And it's disrupting the airflow underneath the top wing, which is supposed to go straight through, but instead it's got like this little wind tunnel. So biplanes do the same damn thing. That's why you see modern biplanes. If you've ever wondered, when you look at modern biplanes, one of the wings sits forward, like the top wing usually sits forward of the back wing, so that the two wings don't interfere with each other.
I didn't even know modern biplanes existed, and now a little part of me that wasn't already dead is dead because
Speaking
I know
of
that
biplanes, now we can talk about something Russian finally. Oh my god. The Antonov A2, that is a modern biplane. They used to throw paratroopers out of them.
Yeah, they still fly that thing. That is one ugly sumbitch, but
I'd fly it.
For
Dusky Econ in the chat said it was good. That's what she said. And it worked kind of well, actually. That's also what she said. Sam went on with, I suppose you think he say with the info for 5 or so mins, and they discussed that and answered the questions. Ugh. I don't know, sir. We'll keep working on it.
Yeah. So my feedback.
This is the experiment with the Rodan too, because that's the one that would like, all right, this is gonna be the roughest one, and we can only go up from here.
And honestly, like once we get through all this history and stuff, we can go back to being idiots. So
I mean, we're still being idiots. We just don't have as much time because of Sam's multiple monologues.
Well, we're only doing this about once every 4 shows, so don't worry.
Which is this
is not a next catch us next week type thing. This is a catch us in a little bit.
Yeah.
My we're gonna leave them with just a little bit of information, then be like, okay, bye. That seems
weird. It's called a cliffhanger. Study cinema for a change.
They're gonna throw themselves off the cliff.
Okay.
Video? That's some live leak shit we can get into.
World Star.
So my feedback is the very first time I was ever on a podcast, which I know you watched. I think I have improved quite a bit after doing this for a few more times than just by one random guest appearance. And I think this is also going to improve and get better over time. And I think it's just going to involve me and Mike being more interrupting you and talking about random shit, and then you keeping yourself on track after we've talked about a little bit of random shit.
It'll also help. I need to improve my notes a bit.
I mean, you got a lot of notes.
Yes, but they're not very flow structured. My ADD kicks up when I
this show isn't flow structured. If you flow structure your notes, it's going to make it even worse because you're going to lose track. And then you're going to take 20 seconds to find where you were in the flow and just instead of just picking a random thing to talk about.
Sam takes so long to describe things, but by the time he gets done, I have to take a pill to help my flow structure.
Oh, I thought you had to take a piss.
I mean, that was a piss joke, long-winded, but yes.
You also take a long time to explain things that you're very passionate about, Mr. Chronoplans.
M91.
Hey, I could have gone on a lot longer than I did. I could have gone on Ekrana longer.
When we come back to this, M9130 will be something all three of us can talk about because we've all shot them. You two own them. I sold my M44 a while ago, which I still only partially regret because the thing did shoot like you determine minute of angle at 100 yards. So I guess it would be something like a 16-minute of angle rifle. That was so rat fucked. It's like, this thing, no.
Because this is an episode for being pedantic, I do not own an M9130. I don't even own a gun that was converted from an M9130.
Okay. Fair enough. I keep forgetting.
I have a Nagant and I don't know what it is.
It's an M9130. Okay. Unless it was model of 1891. That's where you get your 91. In the 30s, they went back through and tweaked the design, so you get the /30.
Yes, which actually that's a really
1940 in Russia.
Still a 9130 because at that point the model number is not M30; it's now M9130.
Yeah, I just keep being pedantic because I own M91s that have a really cool story behind them because they're Finnish and they're not Russian, but they were Russian before they were Finnish.
Were they Russian to finish them?
So technically, if you do have,
they were. In fact, it was the Winter War.
If you have a Mosin that was never re-arsenaled around 1930, it could still be an 1891. But the vast majority of Mosins out there were built after 1930.
I have one. It's the one that has a stock on it, and I try not to take that stock on it very much. It has a date code on the tang that is covered by the stock that's 1893.
Nice.
And I've shot that gun, and it shoots great.
I mean, I've shot I guess it is a 9130. I've shot that a lot, and it is phenomenal. I made a 20-ounce pop bottle dance at 100 yards with 5 rounds, just bang, bang,
That's
bang.
Awesome.
See, if I tried that with my M44, I would have hit it maybe once.
All right, so what's an M44?
M44 is a carbine version that was, so the M38, I believe it is the M38 off the top of my head, is a carbine version that was cut down for second echelon, non-combat troops, artillery, so on and so forth. The 44 was an attempt to take that carbine concept, because this is 1944. This is at the end of the war when everyone's starting to realize that, we're actually not really shooting at people at 900 fucking meters. We're really just shooting at them at 300 and in. So we don't need big, long rifle. So they're starting to chop them down. Mm. But they have this constant obsession with everyone must still have bayonet.
Okay, that was my next question. What
they did is just weld the bayonet, a folding bayonet, to the side of the rifle.
So literally SKS idea of folding bayonet that stays with rifle forever, which frankly, I think that is cooler than the detachable bayonet carbine Mosin.
So my only regret in selling that rifle is that in terms of visual aesthetics, it looked fucking badass. I pulled the one up on hopefully is my screen sharing right now?
Yeah.
Okay, yep, there you go. There's the whole bayonet assembly. It folds 90 degrees, so the right-hand side where the bolt is, it folds just all the way back, 180 degrees off, points backwards. Downside is if you're gripping the rifle in the wrong spot, it will stab you in the finger. That's a pain in the ass. And the
like it's
second pain in the
finger.
ass is, and I've heard, and after I bought it, rather, I've heard they have it terrible. Some of them, it depends on when they've been re-arsenaled, if they were re-arsenaled, and just the random die cast of fortune, I suppose. Some of them have shitty accuracy because having that much mass on the barrel is just an absolute nightmare for harmonics.
They could have
Just
also
creates this
just
giant, ugly ass fucking does not work barrel.
they could have also just been shot the hell out. They could have also had stocks that had very uneven channels that put weird pressures at weird points in the barrel. Like,
Yep.
you never know.
Mine was not shot out, but mine would put a dinner, so basically an 8-inch size group with, and this was with multiple types of ammunition at 50 yards. And I was just like, I'd never shoot this thing. Kind of regret selling it. Not super regret selling it, but it's just like, get out of my safe. I'm tired of looking at you.
One thing I want to point out in the actual stream is Plow Guy Dave says, talking to me, that I'm getting way more comfortable with doing podcast stuff, which is awesome. And that I help bring the tangents back around, which is funny because I also start like half the tangents. But
yeah,
thanks,
but we do
Dave.
need somebody to complete the circle back to what we were talking about.
Okay, we're not talking about your favorite pastime of circle jerking right now. I have to talk.
Nobody said anything about circle jerking, you jerk off.
All right, good night.
But no, thanks, man. I'm working on it. I'm still a very antisocial and socially awkward mofo, but
that's
thanks
not
for the compliment. Change. No, it's never going to change. I've been this way since I was born this way.
In fact, since you can talk to friends on the internet now, you probably will get more antisocial.
I'm really kind of over how much we've been jerking ourselves off on this one.
I'm not done yet.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Finish somewhere else. Dr. Scary Guy, it was a star bayonet on the side of that thing, not a bladed bayonet. No, that's what the M44 is. It's a chopped down Mosin Nagant with a side folding bayonet. Most of them did not make it into World War II because although it's a model of 1944, most of them were produced in 1945. By the time they make it anywhere near the front, it's April of 1945 and shit's fucking over anyway.
Yeah.
Also, that gun produced probably a more obnoxious fireball than my M14 tanker does. M1A tanker. And that's saying something.
You have okay, never mind.
M1A tanker.
I didn't hear the A at first.
Oh, no, I don't have an M1 tanker.
I actually got M40, to see
that fucking Mosin. You pulled the trigger on that thing and it was just even behind it. So my M14 tanker, M1A tanker, bleh, if you're behind the rifle, it ain't that bad. If you're next to it, the muzzle breaks a bit like, fuck you. That M44 Mosin behind the gun was like, fuck you every time you shot it. Because it had such it kicked like a son of a bitch. And just the biggest, most obnoxious, loudest fucking just bang, fireball in front of your face. And concussion. Just bleh. It wasn't fun to shoot.
I will say I've shot a 9130 and I've shot this thing, the M39, with the same ammo. And the M39, for whatever reason, just kicks so much softer. It's more of a gentle and consistent push than a snappy kick to the shoulder. I don't know why. The gun weighs a little more, but not that much. So I don't know. That's why I said it shot so well earlier.
Finish Black Magic.
Yes. Indeed.
Which we will talk about eventually. Because again, this whole segment thing gives us the opportunity to squirrel off on all the guns we want to. Because we'll get through Mosin, And then if we want to talk about your little Finnish disaster up there, because I'm jealous of it.
I was gonna say you.
When I sold that M44, my goal was to get a Finnish Mosin, and then I found the Suomi on the wall instead. That's another story. But we can squirrel off and talk about that. I wouldn't mind talking about Winter and Continuation War as well. So, kaboom.
Plow Guy Dave said "Squirrel Off" is a show title. I like it.
It could be.
Let's do a squirrel off.
We can title this one Burdan 2 Squirrel Off. I'm gonna write that down right now. I like that.
No, Plow Guy, if not for a different show. It came up in this show. It's going with this show because it's appropriate.
Burdan 2 electric squirrel-a-loo. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, good gentlemen. I think that'll do it for now.
Those would tell you, comrades.
Not gentleman, comrade.
Okay. Good comrades.
Good comrade.
Go leave us a review on your favorite podcast app.
Extra points if you actually use a Russian accent when you write it.
Party demands feedback from its citizens. Leave us a review or face the Gulag. Anonymity is guaranteed.
Be careful. We need 51% of the body to claim the reward.
I don't even know what to say that. Get out there, train. Don't be a fat fuck. A prepared Wolverine is a live Wolverine. Don't be like the Wolverines at the end of the movie who got themselves killed because the dude crept up behind him, and instead of just shooting him, he had to say something before fanning the hammer.
Spoiler alert, much.
That movie was made in like 1984 or something, dude. If you haven't seen it, you're on your own.
Dude, Red Dawn is like a American classic.
No,
one of the only parts of that movie that pisses me off is when he's got an RPG and he's shooting at the Mi-24 helicopter, and he hits the guy in the helicopter instead of the actual helicopter. Like, what the fuck?
Oh my gosh.
Close us out, comrade.
Well, that's all I got. Good night.
Bye-bye.